The latest attempted invasion by the Gaza flotilla, led by the Swedish troll Greta Thunberg, is now over. The boats are in Israeli custody, and it turns out, well, they really didn't have any aid, which is why, perhaps after the Pope and Greece and Italy and Israel promised to deliver the aid they were carrying into Gaza, the flotilla said no, because there wasn't any. We have those details and more coming right up. Will, the latest Gaza flotilla ended. As of today, there are 42 boats that have been seized by the Israeli government, the so-called Global Samud Flotilla. Hundreds of the flotilla sailors have been sent back to Europe. There's a few still remaining in detention in Israel. Now they're having a hunger strike for being captured, even though they violated several international laws sailing into a war zone after they were told not to. You know what I find really interesting is that a number of countries in the world, specifically Greece, Italy, the Pope, and Israel, said, if you're bringing supplies, drop them off here or there or wherever. Drop them off in Cyprus, drop them off in Greece, bring them into Ashdod, we'll distribute them. And they said, no, we will distribute our supplies ourselves. It turns out that when the boats were boarded, the Israeli sailors could not find supplies. I have a video from one of those boats showing you this is the biggest yacht, by the way, in the entire flotilla. And look what he found on the boat.
Where I am, because it's pretty much an empty room. That's right, I'm inside one of the vessels, one of the largest vessels to come in this Yom Kippur flotilla. And while we're processing this boat, there's one thing missing, guys. All this aid that they were supposed to bring into Gaza, which explains one thing to me, I'm sure it explains to you, that when we and multiple other countries offered them to take this aid and bring it to the Gazans, we could facilitate its safe arrival, they flat out rejected it. And now we know why, because it was never about bringing aid to Gazans, but it was all about the headlines and the social media followings.
There were no supplies. It was a selfie trip led by this little troll named Greta Thunberg, who, I don't know, 8 months, 12 months ago was saving the world for green future and was going to stamp out fossil fuels, except it turned out that everything she was protesting for in her 8th grade dropout mind turned out to be fake. So she switched.
How dare you? How dare you?
That's very good. That's her line. I love that. She went from being the troll of the Greens to being the troll of the Palestinian martyrs. And a video came out of Sweden, where she's from, after her video came out saying, I've been kidnapped by the Israeli Navy. Please tell my government to get me back. By the way, that video was recorded before the flotilla even launched, and it was uploaded but not released. So she knew in advance what was going to happen.
Wow.
Check out how Sweden responded to her.
My name is Greta Thunberg. I'm a citizen of Sweden. If you are watching this video, I have been abducted and taken against my will by Israeli forces. Our humanitarian mission was non-violent and abiding by international law. Please tell my government to demand my and the others' immediate release.
My name is Joachim Lamotte and I'm a Swedish citizen. If you see this video, Greta Thunberg has been abducted by Israeli forces. And I have a message from the Swedish people to the Israeli government. Please keep her. We have had her so many years in Sweden and we cannot stand it anymore. So you are doing us a really big favor right now. Thank you very much.
That's what she was screaming for. And shall we say, the Swedish people are all saying, no, don't send her back. We don't want her. That's the video that was recorded in advance. They were saying, no to Israel. Please don't send her back. We don't want her.
I've seen it. There's a no. You keep her. You keep her.
Yeah. We don't want her back. We don't want her in Sweden. It's such a fake. You know, there are two treaties that specifically say if you sail into a war zone, the country that has declared it will seize your vessel and all people aboard it. And you know, as she said, violating international law, blah blah blah. And now there's demonstrations all over Europe for her because these progressive lunatics that have no concept of what really happens on these little boats. It's just amazing. They sailed in to attempt to break into Gaza on the holiest day of the Jewish calendar, Yom Kippur, on the anniversary of the 73 war when Israel was invaded by every country in the Middle East and almost annihilated. In honor of that, the flotilla arranged for them to be seized on Yom Kippur during October. And Greta Thunberg is now back in Europe screaming that this is the claim as of today. I was forced to drink toilet water. I was beaten. I was pulled by my hair. I was starved. I was forced to kiss the Israeli flag. By the way, she was represented by counsel in Israel, never made a single complaint about anything, but made these speeches once she landed in Greece. Some of them pre-recorded.
Once she got back safely.
Mm-hmm. She was fed. She was clothed. She was represented by counsel, as were all of these people. And now the complaining starts about how they were terribly tortured. They brought it on themselves. I wish the Israeli Navy would have sunk the boats in the middle of the Mediterranean and just put them in prison for violating Israeli sovereignty on the high seas. But no, Israel has to be the nice guy. And
I was getting ready to say that. You know what, Barry? Israel is extremely nice. You know, on the outside looking in, Israel is extremely nice. And the reason why I say that, because they keep giving these people the opportunity over and over and over to do the right thing. And then when they do the wrong thing, they get caught. And so, okay, you know, we're going to be nice. Well, you know, I mean, you got to go through this little trouble because you're making us go through a little bit of trouble. But for the most part, you go back home.
They're being treated like tourists who just took the wrong turn.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
and one last point. There's a lot of evidence coming out now that the money to buy these boats and equip them with provisions for the passengers were funded through Hamas front groups. And
really?
The evidence is, oh yeah.
So they needed them for the propaganda. They needed them for the propaganda.
It's a propaganda war, 100%. It's a propaganda war. That's
so
exactly
where do Hamas
what
get the money to fund this? Qatar?
That's normally where they get funded. 100% true. It's normally where they get funded.
Maybe we should ask Tucker. I'm just saying.
He'll know. And we'll talk about that soon. I promise.